Do you believe in magic? Because it isn't real. Oh my god, what a loser. Do you think Harry Potter is a documentary? Do you think Gandalf is a historical figure? If you're old like me, you might remember the TV show from the 90s called Breaking the Magician's Code, or Magic's Biggest Secrets, or The Masked Magician. I don't know if it was normal for shows to have 5 titles back then, but it did. You see, back in the day, magicians used to be kind of famous, and I'm not saying like Michael Jackson famous, I'm saying like Wentworth Miller kind of famous. That was a weird reference. You had magicians such as David Copperfield. It kind of feels like we don't have that anymore, you know? Like good old magicians. You just have the guy on TikTok that like speaks impossibly fast.
The weird thing is I pull a blue pom-pom, up goes the red pom-pom, no, this string's long and that string's short. Pull a white pom-pom, up goes the yellow pom-pom, no, this string's long and that string's short.
So back in the 90s, Fox introduced us to The Masked Magician, which essentially just followed this magician with a mask who decided to go on TV and just expose every single magic trick that like ever existed. It must have sucked back then being like a magician trying to book a side gig and then a guy in a gimp mask just exposes all your trade secrets on international TV. But as a kid, I used to love this show. And now I'm an old man, so I want to see if it still holds up. The first trick I wanted to watch is a good old classic, the woman getting sawed in half. It seems like a trick that every magician and their toddler has done before, but I want to know how it's done.
We've all seen a magician saw a woman in half. Now we're going to show you how it's done.
So they're tying down the woman and it seems just a little bit aggressive. Like, is there really any need to manhandle this poor woman? Also, I forgot how much skin we were going to be seeing in this show because, like, that yak nearly poked my eyes out.
The doors are closed.
That's a weak-ass box. Look how shaky that box is. A homeless man would take a cardboard box over that.
The magician and his assistant make it appear as if they're sawing through her body. Sometimes this will be embellished by screams coming from the assistant inside the box. More blades are inserted through the center of the box. He makes it seem like he hit bone.
Okay, so you tell me that the first metal sheet went in fine, but then with the second metal sheet, he has to act like there's some sort of resistance. Where is the resistance coming from? Because it clearly wasn't there 2 seconds ago.
Here's how it's done. Check out the leg restraints. It's supposed to look like no one could get out of them. But watch. There's just enough room for her to slip free.
Just enough room. I could drive a transit van through those leg restraints. If I could drive.
Once the box is closed, she quickly gets out of her shackles and folds her body into the top half of the box. This is actually pretty dangerous, because the assistant has no way to signal to the magician that she's clear of the saw.
She can't signal, yet she has her hands poking out of the top of the box. I'm sure she could make like a little signal with her fingers.
After the boxes are put back together, the assistant slips her feet back into the restraints, making it seem as if she's been locked in the entire time. The shackles are unlocked. And that's the trick.
Doesn't it kind of just seem like the assistant did the entire trick? The masked magician, he did sweet fuck all. By the way, I want to let you know that I can do a little bit of magic myself, because every single time someone subscribes, I get an erection. That was you. The next trick I wanted to look at was the woman in the egg cage.
A medieval torture device. It's empty now, but knowing the magician, this cage won't be empty for long. He calls in 2 of his assistants who come bearing a small rack.
The racks don't look that small to me.
With the front half of the cage removed, we can see how something or someone can be placed inside. Here's someone now, and she's something.
This narrator seems hella horny. Like he needs to relieve himself. Okay, so if you watch this clip carefully, you can see that the assistants carry out the rack, they put the girl in the cage, they close the cage, they lock the cage, they unlock the cage, they cover the cage. And what is the masked magician doing the entire time? That's what he does. Hey bro, I just got this brand new TV show. Oh really? Oh shit. That's so cool. Like, what do you do on it? Are you special? Also, I want you to take note how many assistants this guy has. It seems a little bit excessive. Now I know this isn't Leo, but he could at least put some sort of effort into his acting, because how am I supposed to take you serious right now? So essentially the trick, obviously, he saws her in half, but he doesn't actually saw her in half. It was all an illusion. And I feel like this trick actually works really well because of how much smaller this cage seems compared to the box from the last trick. So she presses her back to the top of the cage to make it seem smaller, and then she has like a little sideways passage.
See, there are two sections that have been rigged to secretly slide away. In this provocative position, she's in no danger of being touched by the saw blade.
Dude, this narrator, what is going on? And we actually get a little glimpse into the inside of the cage, you know, to see what's going on inside. But it seems like the camera is completely focused on the woman's chest. It's a bit crazy to me that when I was a kid, I didn't realize that all these assistants were just allergic to clothes. So this is a pretty amazing trick.
The magician has assembled a group of volunteers to witness the magic.
Essentially, the magician has a bunch of witnesses, keep that word in mind, witnesses, that circle him on a parking lot. And then he lifts these like cloth things, and then voila, there's a fucking elephant there.
Maybe the masked magician can do real magic after all.
That's a pretty cool trick. Do you want to know how it's done?
First off, let's start with a group of spectators. The secret here is they're all in on the trick.
So the witnesses were actors. So you lied to me.
Constructed near a group of trees by the edge of the lot is a painted Hollywood backdrop and some fake trees. This is the elephant's hiding place.
Okay, so they painted the trees in the corner so they could hide the elephant behind it. That's kind of cool, but it only works if you're watching it on TV, because if you're not watching on TV, you'd just be like, hey yo, are those trees a fucking Van Gogh? I didn't really need a 5-minute explanation to tell me how camera angles and actors work. I think I would have gotten the gist of it if you just told me it's all fake, and none of this would have worked if you were actually there. Walking through a brick wall. Now, I was actually really looking forward to this trick because it just seemed so amazing. I've never been so disappointed in my life.
Our magician will defy the laws of physics and walk through this solid brick wall. He pushes the egg into the wall.
So he makes the egg vanish into the wall. I thought he just dropped it into his sleeve, but it turns out that he never actually took it out of his hand. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Now it's the magician's turn to pass through the wall.
So they put up these sheets and this light to make it look like he's going into the wall. That's the illusion. And then they like weirdly shuffle those screens away whilst one of the assistants is just going crazy on the wall. It seems a bit fishy to me. It seems a bit fishy to me.
The screens are brought around to the other side of the wall. Now it seems as if the magician is emerging from the center of the wall.
I wouldn't quite say he re-emerges. It more just looks like he's just fucking there the entire time. I don't think I've ever seen anything look so shit in my life. And I was the person that made this.
Your name's tearing up the mainframe.
I think any 4-year-old could have understood how this was done. Except me, because I was a fucking dumb kid.
It now seems as if the magician has disappeared into the wall. You can clearly see that the magician is walking inside. This must be done carefully, or the audience might see his feet.
So now we find out how it was done, and lo and behold, the magician was inside the screens the entire time. I also like when he says, oh, they have to be careful so no one sees him, but you have a bunch of the YouTube comments just time-stamping all these moments when you can see the magician. But this trick stank. I need a palate cleanser. One last trick should do the trick. I saw this thumbnail and I knew it had to be good. So essentially the trick is there's these long ass metal spikes and he lies down underneath them. They tie him down and then these massive spikes just slam through him. Also, everyone seems to be dancing. Is that normal for them to do? Okay, so it says here that you want to be a magician's assistant. Is that right? It has been my dream since I was a child. Okay, well, whenever you're ready, show me what you got.
His assistants tie him down.
This kind of seems like the dream scenario. Getting tied down by these beautiful women. I mean, the massive nails are kind of distracting, but I'm a sucker for pain.
Sounds like they found their mark. But the show just started, so you know we wouldn't let that happen.
This is the definition of aura. This is the shit that made this man so legendary to me as a child. Although I don't know why he's not closing his eyes. So we went from watching the shittest magic trick to ever exist to quite possibly the greatest thing these eyes have ever witnessed. The way the trick works is kind of concerning though. So essentially it gets tied down, but it's just Velcro, which, you know, is fair enough. And I would have thought he had like some secret chamber or something to hide in, but no, he just moves off slightly to the side as these 18-inch steel nails slam down at incredible speeds next to him. There has to be a safer way to do this. It seems unnecessary, you know? This and the elephant guy is supposed to be the same show. Doesn't really seem right to me. I'm sure they could have used like polystyrene nails, you know, as a fail-safe, but, you know, 90s baby. But I'm glad I remembered this show because realistically, it makes me feel nostalgic for my childhood. And rewatching these tricks filled my heart with joy. And maybe it filled something else with blood as well. And one last little funny thing that I noticed is this guy is always live on his channel. Like if you go on his channel right now, they will just be live streaming old episodes all the time. And he has like 19 viewers, which, you know, mogs my videos. But it's just funny to me that this old show that I completely forgot about has some guy just constantly like maintaining the live stream on YouTube as we're speaking, like 30 years after it aired. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. I'll see you next week.